Hello, welcome to episode 4. This one is Delium. Got a big blob of text here, so if you don't want to hear me read it, then skip ahead a little bit. A number of strategically significant events occurred in the few years after Olpae, that's the battle we just did, which was really hard. In 425, several Athenian troops under Demosthenes were driven ashore on the peninsula of Pylos in Spartan territory by a storm. They proceeded to fortify this location, drawing the ire of the Spartans. The Spartan army and fleet converged on the new Athenian position, and after some initial skirmishing, besieged the Athenian fort on the peninsula. Then the Athenian fleet arrived, defeated the Spartan fleet in the Battle of Pylos, and trapped over 400 Spartans, including 120 Spartiates, on the island of Sphacteria, just off Pylos. Negotiations for the turn of the Spartans failed, and the Athenians stormed the island with a force of some hoplites and many light archers and Siloi, who would harass the Spartans with ranged fire rather than come to grips with them in melee combat, ultimately driving the Spartans to the far northern end of the island. The combination of skirmishing warfare, thirst, dust, and ash from a recent fire left the Spartans completely exhausted. When a small Athenian detachment seized the high ground above their fort, they were driven to despair and surrendered. Although the number of men involved was small, this outcome shook the entire Greek world, as Spartans, and especially Spartiate citizens, were supposed to never surrender. With Spartiate prisoners in hand, the Athenians could now threaten Sparta with their execution should Attica be invaded. This allowed the Athenians to once again safely farm crops in Attica, and even launch raids into Spartan territory directly from their new position at Pylos, changing the strategic balance of the war. This newfound strategic flexibility also permitted the Athenians to strike out of Attica at Megara, a nearby city on the Isthmus of Corinth. An Athenian blockade of the city based in nearby Salamis starved the Megarans out, and a series of Spartan interventions, Megaran internal strife between oligarchs and democrats, and a few small battles saw the city change hands several times before ultimately being occupied by the Peloponnesians. In 424 BC, the newly impetuous Athenians planned an invasion of Boeotia. One half of the Athenian force under Demosthenes sailed too early, and their ill-timed landing betrayed their invasion plans before the Athenian land forces under Hippocrates could arrive. Without their support, Demosthenes had to withdraw. By the time Hippocrates arrived at the temple of Delium, he had to fortify it on his own. After completing the fortifications, Hippocrates sent his army back to Athens, an event observed by the now assembled Boeotian army gathered to oppose the Athenians. Pagondas of Thebes, commander of the Boeotians, urged an attack even though the Athenians were in the process of departing. He advanced with 7,000 hoplites, his right wing in deep formation, 1,000 cavalry and 500 peltasts, and a huge number of light troops against an Athenian force that, although lacking in light troops, was otherwise comparable and aligned at a more standard depth and thus greater width than the Thebans. The Thebans defeated the Athenians, killing about 1,000 of them for 500 losses of their own, and pursued the Athenian survivors until nightfall. Among them, the philosopher Socrates. Okay, so we're playing as Thebes, and we have to kill some Athenians. We'll have a bunch of hoplites. We'll take the... what did it say? Okay, so they don't have light troops, so we will not take light cavalry. We'll take more cavalry. Is this javelin cavalry? No, I'd rather just have... Huh. See how slingers do. Javelinmen, Greek peltasts, and and Greek Peltas. Okay, let's go. Okay, so big open map here. Not quite sure what to expect. We'll do, we're going to have a nice big, what is this unit in the middle? Deep infantry. Interesting. Okay. So we'll have the deep infantry and the deep infantry kind of close together. You two on this side. You two on this side. Then we're going to have a lot of cavalry adjusting to whatever they do here. And then we've got this giant blob of skirmishers. So I say we just go. Okay, we'll get the slingers. Oh my goodness, let me click that please. Boom. No, not what I wanted. There we go. Boom. Start shooting this. Start shooting this. It's a lot of hoplites. Fire. Okay, it's just letting me fire there. Looks like the AI is not handling this very well. Let's take that out. This is the one that I'd rather not get involved in. Why are we shaking? Why? Why? That's not what I told you to shoot. I told you to shoot that. See if we can get you involved here. Okay, the AI is not being particularly bright here. My units aren't being very bright either. Let's try to kill this unit that's pushing out here. Okay, the cavalry I want coming out. I want you guys fighting this. Should I just come back? That's not so good. Okay, I'd say we've done pretty well on the flanks. This thing's a little caught out here. Let's get kind of an updated batch of orders here. This thing's gotten its cohesion back. I think we could probably sandwich this at this point. I think we could close in here. I think we could update this. Are these ours? I think they are. So we're about to sandwich this. Good. Okay, so same thing. Let's get you here and you here. Well, let's definitely need to do that. Okay, I think we move to engage on that. Meanwhile, you and you need to stay poised to strike. Tempted to run this down. Let's do it. Okay, now you attack that flank. That hasn't taken enough losses yet. Oh, we won. That was kind of anticlimactic, I'm not gonna lie. I want to... Let's look at the kills. We just like skirmished them to death. The AI was being really dumb. Let's keep playing it for fun. Hit the side of this. That's down. Boom. What do we at here? They're pretty low. We could hit that. I wanted to see how these do. I think we can hit... We can move this up to here. Basically just attack that, you attack that. Meanwhile, you guys, let's kind of wrap around here. Oh, we got shaken by this. Maybe not entirely surprising. That was premature to charge that. We do have kind of a sandwich situation. Side. You should be hitting the back. Getting multiple cav charges off here. This should drop here. That drops. That drops. This ought to drop when we hit it in the back. You can... Oh, our massed infantry here is wavering. That's a little interesting. You guys need to come to the rescue over here. You guys need to engage over here. You need to hit this. Actually, no, just hit that. You need to hit the side of this. As do you. Actually, you know what? You need to hit the back of this. Shook that. I wonder how long this will last. It's lost a lot of troops. Okay, it did drop. That's interesting. Also curious about how long it takes for these to turn around. Almost instant. Wavering. That was bad. Okay. This just went down, which means you need to walk around over there. Down. You guys ought to be attacking that. Boom. Everyone here should attack that. There's a charge happening here. So we closed off here, good. Let's hit the back of this unit. Looks like there's a bit of a face-off here. Unit's hanging in there. goes down to the back here. And while everyone else click on this. Yeah, compared to Opay, this was straight up easy mode. I feel like the AI was not optimal, but it really let me sort of sit there and pick off the flanks without a fight. Ad hoc general what? I didn't see that. Okay, 100%. That's that. So, next one will be Lynkestis. This will be interesting. Looks like we're gonna get to play as some Spartans. Anyway, see you guys in the next one.